Gregory, we cannot hear you. You're muted.
Let's see if that works a little better. Thank you, Janet.
Yay.
There's so many little things you have to do to get this call just right. And I know we're going to get it just right really quick because I'm going to shut up and pass it over to you. So thanks everybody for joining us here Monday, May 20th for our Live Younger community call. We've got a stacked deck for you here tonight. And I'm going to turn the first part of this call over to you, Janet.
Thank you, Gregory. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday's call, the Success Tips from Live Younger. And a special welcome to our brand partners and also to our team leaders on the call. We so appreciate everybody being here. Well, tonight we're here to celebrate a new director, one that has persevered honestly for years to reach the rank, years of learning and sharing and growing and caring and achieving. And I know you're going to be excited to hear about her journey. But before we do, Gregory asked if I would touch a little bit on the director rank and why achieve it. We're going to talk a bunch about why tonight, right? But as Robin Muscari says, once you reach senior director, your Lifeway business really has a solid foundation. So senior director, if you're a new manager with us or below, it requires having a minimum of 2 directors that are active on your team and 10,000 business volume unit points, right? So that director rank is really a key building block. Well, in January, our team kicked off 2024 with a focus on helping managers achieve the director. And here's why. So I'm going to pause for a sec and I'm going to share my screen because something that the company shared in January just definitely hit home with me. And hopefully you can see my slide here. Well, in December, they showed the stats of here's the managers that ranked up in 2020 and the managers in 2021 and 22. And you saw this big increase in 23, which is really great. We know we're in growth. We know that people are getting excited about X39. But what caught me was the right side of the slide and how few people were actually reaching director. And I saw this big gap of failing to help people get to director and maintain it. Now, not everybody wants to be a director. If you love just getting your patches paid for, great. We love having you here. But we're in growth and you may be on your way to your director before you even know it. And what caught me is if we look at the green columns, let's say, I don't know exactly what the numbers are on the green column, but let's just say we took like 50% of it and came over. Well, these directors were way below that. And then I took half of that again, 25%. And I said, team, this is where we're going to focus this year, is helping people cross from manager to director. So I'm going to stop this here, put that back down. And why, if you're new with us tonight, pardon me, I got to get back on my screen here. If you're just trying to really learn your way with LifeWave, you're in the right place. And so we're here to help you. So as we, over this past 4 months, our team leaders have been helping the managers reach and hold director. Oh, I got to resume my share. Hold on here. You guys, I'm going. There we are. All right. So also with the advent of the Punta Cana incentive trip, we're also focused on a 90-day run to senior director, because if you know the rules to that, you reach senior director and keep it for 6 weeks, you're going to Punta Cana, which is really exciting. So the result of these efforts of us over the last 4.5 months is 2 new directors ranking up this past week. So I got to give a little shout out and high fives to my team. My leaders have been working quite a bit. Well, tonight, Executive Director Barbara Larrabee is here to introduce her team's newest director, Nancy Addison, and we're going to share success tips of what she learned along the way. Many of you know Barbara Larrabee, but if you're not, let me share that Barbara really is the consummate team leader. She nurtures her team. She's a teacher. She's a systems thinker. She's really a seasoned network marketing professional. And with almost 3 years with LifeWave, Barbara's truly my detail captain. She knows the ins and outs of the comp plans. She knows how to find everything in the back office and the nuances of the policies and the procedures. And these are skills that are really instrumental for managers reaching director. So welcome, Barbara. Please open your camera and let's have you celebrate your new director. Go ahead and unmute.
Yep, I got the camera, but I didn't do the microphone. Well, thank you so much for that introduction for me. I wasn't really expecting that, and I'm very honored. And truly, truly honored to be here on the Live Younger team and all the support that we get from everybody. I mean, the downline helps us, the sideline helps us, the upline helps us. It's just amazing. And so it is definitely my pleasure to introduce a wonderful addition to our leadership, Nancy Addison. And you have no idea how I had to filter a lot of things to just cut it down to a few words, because this lady is so accomplished. She's just amazing. And I love that you're going to get to know her. She's a wellness coach and nutritionist. She is a best-selling author with international awards. She hosts a weekly radio show with a global reach, and she just has the biggest heart for caring for people and animals too. And so, Nancy, would you open your camera and your mic, and let's share some of your adventures with our audience. There we go. Thank you. Thank you so much. So Nancy, it's just so wonderful to celebrate that you have reached director, because I know how hard you've worked for this. And she just has nurtured every member on her team. She's there for them and inspiring them and doing special Zooms for them. And so, Nancy, would you tell us a little bit about how you got started and your any tips along the way as far as your journey for everybody here in the audience?
Yes, I'd love to. I guess I've been using the patches about 2.5 years now. And I started with my friend Adele. We both started the same day, same time at my house. And she decided to sign up under me, which was lovely. And we embarked on this journey of the patches. And at first, I couldn't really see what was going on because I didn't have anything really wrong with me to like gauge. And so we both took pictures of our faces before we started. And so I don't know if any of y'all have seen that before picture, and that picture of me 11 months later that has been shared around, but Adele took that picture, that first picture. And as we embarked on this journey, I just started seeing results that I couldn't explain any other way, right? It had to be the patches that were creating the situations I was seeing. And I know this is going to sound so hilarious to y'all, but it was really one of the first things I did. I love animals. I'm an international wildlife rehabber, and I live out in the country, and I had these cows come visit me every day, and I put a patch on a cow that had a huge sore on her neck for months. And I didn't know who owned these cows, and I had seen some videos of people using them on animals, and I just thought, well, heck, they can work on horses, they can work on cows. And so I put an X39 patch on this cow, and it just absolutely was astounding to see that huge sore it was big. It was like 3 inches by 3 inches, just heal up in 2 days. Just almost like it wasn't even there. And then her infected eye was all cleared up. And in fact, for the next 2 years, she was absolutely the most gorgeous cow in this whole herd. from 1X39 patch. And so I'm very visual, I'm an artist. And when I literally saw that with my own eyes, it just really made me realize that there was a lot going on with these patches, that maybe even if I wasn't feeling it, but it was going on. And so it wasn't much later that I was speaking. I speak on health and nutrition to lots of groups around the world. And I was speaking to a local group near here on health and nutrition. And I just took a few patches with me. And at the end of the talk, I mentioned that these patches have been studied to help different groups of people. And I listed a few of the studies they had done. And I asked if anybody wanted to try one. And there was a lady in the group who tried one. And so I go to our local library every Monday for a yoga class, which is hilarious because we put our mats down around the bookshelves and do yoga. And this lady came in who I'd put the patch on the day before at this meeting. And she couldn't say anything at all about anything except how great that patch was. She had not slept all night in over 6 years. She said she slept all night, woke up in no pain, and the whole yoga class just had to know what they were. And that was the start of my moving forward with this business. And it was actually my friend Adele and my friend Barbara, who I've known a long time and very good friends with. And I was actually, not super excited about having one more multi-level marketing group approach me, because I was like, no, not another, because I am not a marketer. I'm not a sales lady. I'm not good at that kind of thing. I know my strengths, and that is just not one of them. And I thought, oh heavens above, what in the world am I getting myself into? And Adele called me one day, and she had been learning all of the business part. She's a businesswoman type of person, and so is Barbara. And between both of them, they showed me the back office. They showed me what to look for. They encouraged me to not give up and to, try to stay active, and they gave me a few ideas on how I can share this with people. And I health counsel people all over the world pretty much on a continual basis. And over time, as I have encouraged people to try the patches, I have had the most incredible results from people that I cannot say is nutritional or anything other than these patches. And I just have become so deeply devoted to this company and this product, and how much it has really, really helped people. And I have to admit, I counsel people for their animals too. And I know they haven't done studies on animals, I don't think, but when I counsel them, I say, well, these work really well on people, and I have had really great success using them on animals. And in fact, I consider my consulting my ministry. So anyway.
So it took you a while to actually come into the believability of it and to start seeing the system of how to actually build your team. Took a little while. Yeah. So do you have any specific tips for the audience as far as other things that were successful for you that would help them advance?
Yes. One of the things that I have done over the last couple of years is when they text me the next day and say, oh my heavens, that patch got rid of the pain in my rib, my broken rib, better than the medication or Tylenol, I'll take a screenshot of their text message and I'll save it. And I have like a whole file of incredibly wonderful text messages from people. One of them in Germany who said that, he really thinks they saved his mother's life. And, all I did was have dinner with these people, and I didn't even know the German man, but his mother was very sick. And I said, here, take back. Anyway, I've screen saved those wonderful messages. And when I'm talking with people, I'll say, or I can actually share that in a text message to somebody, and maybe they have a similar situation going on, and I can go, oh, my friend was in a car wreck, she had a broken rib, it was just miserable, but this is what we did. She put the X39 right on the painful spot, and this is the message she sent me. Or
That's a brilliant idea. I love it.
and I do encourage him to take before and after pictures, because even though I forgot to take my second picture until 11 months later, it was startling, the difference in my face, in the inflammation going down, and my whole neck looks like a whole different neck. In fact, at my 50th high school reunion, a plastic surgeon followed me around the whole time and finally came up to me and said, how'd you do that? You've never had any work done on you, have you? And I was like, no. So it was hilarious. But Barbara, you've been instrumental, and Janet also. Y'all have spent hours with me on the phone, helping me learn how to do the business, how to help my clients. You have spent hours literally with some of my clients, people helping them. And you've also done radio shows with me. And, every time I do a Zoom with one of my people, and with you, Barbara, or Janet, I take notes so that, maybe one day I can do it myself better. How to fill that pre-filled cart, that shopping, that pre-filled shopping cart is a game changer. It really did.
I will agree that really gave Nancy a great comfort zone, and it's one of the things that she teaches all her people is how to do a pre-populated shopping cart. And it just saves so many errors, and your customer can move much faster. And so that is a great thing to teach your team and make sure every single person knows how to build those shopping carts. Yeah. That's
yes.
good.
But I have to admit, if I don't share these patches with people, I feel like I am actually not helping them. I mean, I just truly believe in these. And I really do think that is one of the things that keeps me going. And I know I've told you this before, Barbara, a few times. Adele's more like the rabbit, and I'm kind of like a tortoise. I just keep going along and adding my people. And if they want to do the business, I do my best to help them. And some of them are a little faster than others, and I've been fortunate to acquire a new person who is just really amazing. And
so to fill in the gap there, she had Adele as her manager, director, really, on one leg, but Nancy had to continue with some patience and just keep looking for that spark plug for her other leg, because most of you need a manager on each leg to become a director. And so she had great people on that other side, but none of them were really kicking into gear to become a manager. And then all of a sudden along came her spark plug, Amy. And so within just a couple of weeks, Amy had become a manager, and it just happened that fast. But it's really not that fast because she laid all this foundation. So there was a lot of patience, a lot of consistency, and just moving forward, continuing to move forward, continuing to share. And I love what you said earlier, Nancy, that this is like a ministry to you. You feel compelled to help people with it.
Yes, and I mean, just the startling things that have happened with people's health has been just, you know, truly wonderful. And I do encourage everyone to, you know, take a picture of their face or their head or, you know, something on their body that they want to, you know, track and see if there's any changes. I've had people who had absolutely no idea that something they had struggled with their whole life, um, there was this one lady who had discoloration on her face. It was part of a problem she'd had all her life. She thought nothing would ever make this go away. And she's one of my business builders. I'm real excited about her. I think she has 26 preferred customers, but she's only signed up maybe one with a package, but she loves these, but these have been fantastic for her because she all of a sudden, after about a month, she had like birthmark kind of discolorations on her face, and they started to go away. And she called me just absolutely beside herself with joy. And you know, you can't buy that kind of happiness when someone is that happy because you helped them with something. I mean, when I talk about some of these things, Barbara, I know you know this, but it brings me to tears.
I know. Nancy, you're just so beautiful. We're so excited for you. Thank you for sharing with us tonight. And I would like to turn it back to Janet and Gregory and see if they have any other questions for you.
Well, I just want to celebrate you too, Nancy. God bless you. What a valuable addition you are to our community and to LifeWave and Live Younger. And you're such a light beam, you know.
Well, I'm as
Starting with a
honored.
cow.
You know, you have no idea how thrilled I am to finally make director.
Yay.
I know.
Great. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Janet, did you want to chime in and share anything before we shift gears and bring up Connie?
Oh, just to say congratulations, Nancy. And yes, Connie, let her take the floor. She's got some wonderful things to share.
Yeah. And you got a great mentor. What a partnership between you and Barbara. I love the love and light going back and forth with you two. And, you know, and Janet, you're just building such an incredible team. God bless you all. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your mentorship, you and Robin. We're so blessed to be under your umbrella and tutelage here. It's very, you know, it starts up there.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
And I'll just say one thing. I did spend a lot of time listening to these Zoom meetings and these wonderful talks like the ones with Connie, and I learned so much, and those were invaluable.
Yep. Well, welcome. Congratulations. And, you know, we'll look forward to you taking the next step. Senior director.
She's ready. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much, Gregory.
Thanks. Okay, well, we're going to shift gears and bring on Connie. Good evening, Connie. And
Good evening.
Connie's going to talk to us about events and, you know, why you want to attend, how to build for them, and anything else she's become an event expert. She's put the miles on too. So over to you,
I'm
Connie.
putting some miles on, that's for sure. Well, congratulations to Nancy, because Nancy, I have to tell you, I saw your before and after picture and it was spectacular, particularly coming from the fact that you were already doing all the things we all know we should be doing. You were doing all the things right, and you still had such a profound difference. So take those before and after pictures. You don't know what's going to happen. And congratulations to Barbara and Nancy on the fact of staying consistent and persistent. You know, you talk about it. So many people say, oh, you know, I've got this big leg and I just need the other leg, and they get so frustrated. Well, that's a fabulous problem to have. I'm just going to tell you. And so great that you guys stayed the course and waited and just helped people until you found that person that raised their hand, and then you equipped them. That's the whole thing. So fabulous, fabulous. So how do we do the income producing activities that lead to what Nancy was just able to accomplish? Events are how we leverage things, and events are the keys. And I'm not just talking come to convention. I'm talking about how do we leverage all the different events and move from event to event. So what are some of the events we have? Well, we have events every week. Every week you have Connie Zoom on Sunday night, where you can invite anybody, your prospects, your customers, your brand partners, product information and support in retention from some of the practitioners on our team who give up their valuable time and expertise, and a whole team of everybody sharing stories. The stories are so powerful. I think one of the things I enjoyed most listening to Nancy was how powerful each and every story she was. That's what people key into. That's how our brains work. So when you come to that Sunday night, when you come to Monday morning Miracle Zoom on Live Younger Chat, when you come to Power of the Patch presentation on Tuesday night on Live Younger Zoom, those are 3 different events that happen every single solitary week. These are the things that we point to, and we move our prospects, our customers, our brand partners into those events. But what do we do from there? Once these events are over, how do we create even more community? Because community is the glue. And so the next step of an event would be something in your home, a patching party, maybe a luncheon, maybe something where just either once a week or possibly twice a month, you bring community together and you have people over and you break bread and you share stories and you share a little information, and people can bring guests with them. Those are powerful, powerful events to have. And then those can feed into larger events where maybe you come together with some cross-line, or you come together as your team grows. And now your upline can come in. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that piece first. Some of my brand partners have, you know, decided they're ready to go. They're building their team is excited. And they said, well, when we get big enough, we'll have an event. And I said, you schedule the event. Okay, so you schedule the event and then you put the actions in place to happen. You schedule the event, you make the time, you put it on all of your leaders' calendars, and then you work towards it. So one of the things that I want to really congratulate the Texas Hill Country team is the fact that they put the event on the calendar. They all got together as a team of leaders, and then they committed to doing patching parties twice a week, every week, to they bring people to those patching parties. Now, those people can invite to the next, and those people can invite to the next. And by the time Barry and I show up 5 to 6 weeks later, we've created momentum. We've created a lot of things happening, some excitement and some growth. Now, what will happen after that event? They'll go back to the patching parties, right? Because they got to continue it and they continue to build. And so, for example, Anne Moreau and I were just in Eugene, Oregon, where we had several different teams underneath my team come together and do a fabulous event. And so they did this event. Anne and I came in, we supported the team, we gave time and attention to our leaders. That's the glue, and that is the best part of it. It wasn't just the event, it was coming in and spending time. So those of you that have leaders and the ability, have larger teams, and you have the ability to go to your teams, go to your teams locally, love on them, help their people, get that community piece going strong where everybody understands that there is something bigger than just themselves. And then what do they do coming out of this? They get together, they collaborate, they get some events in place. for just some simple things, a luncheon, a patching party, let's meet for coffee, whatever it is that you keep the stories, the conversation, and the connection going. And so all these lead in. So Gregory, if you want to pull up the events calendar, we'll talk about a few things coming up and what they might do from there to lead into that. So let's see where we are. Upcoming events. So here's a perfect example. You've got an event that Crossline team from me, but under Robin and Gregory, Dr. Stacy and the Evolve team are doing an event with 1,500 people on Saturday, July 20th in Orlando, right? And so what do we do? How do we build to this? I don't just call and go, oh, who do I know in Orlando? Yes, that's part of it, but there's things you can do. Number one, you're going first. You're making the commitment. And I know not everybody can, but if you can, the first thing I did is Dr. Stacy told me she was having that event. And I went in, Barry and I registered, we bought our plane tickets, we got our hotel room. We're committed, we're going. People don't show up until the leader shows up. And so then what did I do? I called up Robin and Gregory and I said, you know what? I'm coming to this event. And Robin and Gregory said, we're going to the event too. What did they do? They registered, they got committed to it. They decided they were going. And so now we work with our teams and we work backward. We don't just wait to July to promote this. We say, what can we put in place there? So right away we start looking, do we have teams in Florida? We have teams in Orlando, we have teams in Tampa and teams in Naples, teams in Sarasota, all around that area. Anybody that's within a short flight or a drive, we are going ahead and really focusing on those teams. And we talk to those teams about them doing individual events, them doing some smaller events, getting some excitement and some teams built up so that by the time their teams come in, now they start committing to going to this. Then they bring in their new brand partners and their brand partners commit to going to this. And we just keep rolling it up all the way to the July 20th event. We're moving event to event to event to create momentum towards that bigger event where they can get in front of all the leadership. They get a product training from David. We have community. Barry and I are going to hang out in Orlando for several days. We have time to do some dinners. We have time to hang out and have some time with our teams and our community, which does what again? It strengthens the bond. This is relationship marketing. It strengthens the relationships. So that would be one example of what to do. And then all that, your teams, check with your teams. There may be some other events in your area that you can key into as well. And then ultimately, we're really promoting from the Saturday, July 20th event into the Dallas event and our convention. We do know the convention's going to sell out. There is a wait list. I'm sure there will be people who want to sell their tickets. So there's a way to get tickets probably that way. And we do know that once it is sold out, there will be an option for people to join into it remotely once it's completely sold out. So that's how I move to events and I go move things up to the bigger events. And then what do you do coming out of that big event, whether it's convention or whatever? You already have the more intimate, smaller local events set up in place. So you can move right back into those to support all the excitement and all the new guests you're going to get coming in and prospects that are going to come in after coming out of the big event. So Gregory, anything you want to add into that?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to add, I just checked, and one of the beauties of Orlando, it's one of the cheapest places to fly to in the entire country. Okay. So it doesn't really matter where you are. You can get to Orlando for $200-300 or a little more. So don't discount it, so we'd love to see you there. And there's nothing like a big event. And Connie, you and I and many others were at the last one in Orlando, and it was fabulous. It was off the charts. The energy, I can't tell you how many people that went to that just turned up the heat, and there's a whole new level of enthusiasm, activity, and success that comes out of attending an event like this. This will set you and your group on fire to build to the Dallas event. So I just can't say enough. And then, as you said, Connie, we have all these regular events. I'm just going to scroll through. If we look, at our weekly calendar, tomorrow night, we're going to have Dr. Tom on our weekly showcase. We have the Thursday morning, we have the Sunday evening, we have the Monday morning, 7 times a week. We have the Power of the Patch webinar. And Connie, you and Mark have a Wednesday manager maker call that I think we discussed putting on the schedule, see if we can't get that on the schedule for next week. So there's just so many events, and some of them are recruiting events, some of them are training and educational events. And I know, Connie, you have training team calls with your team. Janet has training teams with her call. Lavelle and, Michael Accurso and many of the different leaders within the Live Younger community have their own training, but it's important that people plug into the community, plug into the event. So I really champion you and Barry for starting to put the miles on and being there. And I really encourage all of you leaders, people that are looking to become a leader, you can do most everybody on this call, I believe, has a home. You live somewhere and could invite a few people over to your house for a patching party.
Yeah, Gregory, one of the things that is really the key too, the boot camp was another one. Corporate's going to start doing boot camps. So we're not going to get them to the end of the year and then starting really quarterly next year. But those are one more event. And the beauty of an event like Florida, and the beauty of an event like when your local leader comes in, and the beauty of event of a boot camp is it's more intimate, right? You get more one-on-one time. And I was talking with one of our new leaders, Cheryl, we were talking today about the boot camp and how she really got time with all the leaders. You go into convention and there's 6,000 people, it's its own excitement and product launch, and you want to be there and you don't want to miss convention, but there's not the intimate one-on-one time that you get when you come to Florida and see all of us here when we're in Florida. Come to a boot camp that's a smaller corporate event, a little more intimate, and it gives you more one-on-one time with your leadership. So I encourage everybody to do that. And I encourage those of you that are leaders with really great teams, start looking at what you can do in your area and travel to your teams. If there's any way you can, we have a blast. It is absolutely a joy for me and Barry to go in. And we were leaving out of Oregon just last night, actually. We just got back just last night, and they said, oh, we'll see you down in Phoenix in October. And Barry said, why? Get it going. We'll come back up. So you just want to, I encourage you to go love on your teams, take that time, spoil them and dig in with them. And it's a blast.
Well, thank you, Connie. That's awesome. We all love events and we love getting together. We're family, and, and Zoom's good, but there's nothing like a real live hug. All right. So I think we have a few other things to cover tonight. The Manager Maker and Director Bonus Program. Congratulations, Nancy and Barbara. Woohoo! $250 each right there. And I know, Janet, you have another new director that's going to be joining us next week that couldn't be with us here this week because she's out of the country. So we look forward to celebrating more and more directors and blasting through that last $4,500 in the Director Bonus Program. And I think that was pretty much it for tonight. Robin's not available, so we're not having the spin this week. Maybe next week we'll spin it twice. We'll have 2 leaders for the Vibrant Living testimonial patch. And with that being said, I just want to invite everyone to plug into our text message service if you'd like to get these calls notified, little friendly reminders. It certainly helps me and it helps a lot of people. And I think with that being said, I'll just, again, congratulations, Nancy, Barbara, Janet, thank you, Connie, and we love you all. And we'll see you, many of you and your guests, tomorrow night on the Power of the Patch showcase. That, again, we're going to cover the product and the science, the technology, and David going to watch a couple of short videos. And then we're going to shift it over and talk a little bit about the opportunity. And FYI, Connie and I and Janet, the SPDs, we have a monthly SPD call with corporate. And David announced to us that he's going to be a featured speaker at Direct Selling News Convention, a keynote speaker coming up in September, because LifeWave has been acknowledged to be the #1 growth company in the network marketing industry that works with that particular organization over the last 4 years. So our 4 years running growth has put us in a #1 position and in the top 100 in the world. So you're in the right place, right time with the right company and the right community. So God bless you all. Appreciate you, love you, and we'll talk to you on one of the upcoming calls. Good night, everyone.